Welcome into the coach's office here at the Extreme Ice Center of the Charlotte Rush of the United States Premier Hockey League. I'm Tim Donnelly. It's time for us to talk Charlotte Rush hockey, our midweek report on this Wednesday, October the 18th. And we're going to talk Charlotte Rush Elite hockey right now. And to do that, we'll bring in the head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite Club, and that is Trevor Jewell. Travel Warriors, you guys have been traveling a lot. You had a big showcase event last weekend up in suburban Chicago. We're going to talk more specifically about that, but long bus ride from Charlotte to up there. Just talk about how the travel went.
I thought travel went fine. I mean, yeah, it's pretty long, but it's not our longest trip by any means. You know, Boston's probably our longest, but the guys did well, and it was a fun trip. And again, there's a lot of bonding experiences to be had on the bus, and I think it's good for the team to have trips like that.
Well, again, you had mixed results up in the showcase. You won 2, lost 2, but you had a couple of big wins, convincing wins, and then just a couple of one-goal losses. Let's talk about that first big win over Palm Beach. London Strickler, Micah Amux coming up big on the score sheet for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big game against Palm Beach. They were sitting in first place at the time when we played them in the showcase down in the Florida division. So, you know, I thought we performed pretty well. We got pucks to the net, bodies to the net. Special teams could have been better, but guys like Amox and Strickler stepping up and giving us that secondary scoring is huge. They've had tremendous years so far, and I hope they continue that throughout the rest of the season. They're becoming guys that we can rely on, guys that, you know, go out there and give it their best every time they're on the ice, and I'm very proud with where they're at right now, and I hope it continues to build each game. So it was a good game, and you know, I would say it was a pretty big statement win for us.
And talk about your goaltenders and who you used and how you thought they performed in the showcase.
I thought they all performed pretty well. Anthony Keating obviously was our go-to guy in the first game against Palm Beach, and then I think it was TJ that came back and played the next game against Florida. He did all right. Didn't see a ton of shots. Let a couple behind him they probably wish he had backed, and then you know, Jack came back and played against Tampa that afternoon, and I thought he didn't do too bad, And you know, again, he didn't face a ton of shots either. So it's a tough call in games like that when you don't see a lot of rubber coming at you. So and Anthony, I think, played well in our last game. You know, there's a couple he probably like to have back as well, but you know, that's the way the game goes. I thought they all performed fairly well for the you know, the minutes they did see.
And Trevor, I'm sure you and Ryan Crothers had a chance to talk to some of the college coaches, some of the scouts that were there looking at the guys.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we got to speak to a few of them. I know a couple of our guys were able to speak to a few of them, so, you know, it was good for them to be put on a stage and be able to be seen by other people outside of the eastern side of the United States, so we were pretty proud of that.
Trevor Jewell, the head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite Club, is our guest right now in our weekday report, midweek report here on this Wednesday, October the 18th. Well, Trevor, the showcase behind us right now. We head back on the road again, heading over to Richmond to play them. We were in Richmond earlier in the season, and you guys handled the Generals pretty well in those 2 games a month ago. Yeah,
I mean, I thought we've played fairly well against them. I don't think we didn't handle them very well. I thought we put pucks in the net when we needed to. I think they're still a pretty strong team. They can sneak up on us if we don't, you know, come with our A game. And you know, it's going to be another tough battle. Every time we go to Richmond, it's a battle. So we know that we're going to get their best, and we have to perform to the best of our abilities to make sure we come out of there with 2 wins.
Trevor, and talk about the health-wise of the club. Everybody pretty healthy right now?
Yeah, for the most part, everyone's healthy. I don't see any injuries along, you know, any lines right now. So we'll continue to monitor that stuff throughout the week. But, you know, right now we're looking just fine.
Good news. Last question for Trevor Jewell, the head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite Club. And, Trevor, let's talk about maybe a few guys that have kind of jumped out in your mind for the team the last 3 or 4 weeks, some guys you think are improving.
You know, I would have to say Carter Gallo, Micah Amox, London Strickler, Blake Blevins. Those guys have all, you know, stuck out in my mind as to improving each week. You know, even Julian Miranda has stepped up a bit. I think those guys are really coming along, and they're coming along fast. And, you know, I hope they continue to trend up for the most part. And, you know, we're very surprised and very happy with where they're at right now.
Thanks for the thoughts and comments, Trevor, and good success this weekend in Richmond.
Of course. Thanks, Tim.
All right, that's Trevor Jewell, head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite team. And again, the Rush on the road in Richmond this weekend. You can watch the games on Hockey TV.com. Don't forget, the Rush back home in just a couple of weeks now. It's getting closer. Saturday and Sunday, November the 4th and 5th, as the Rush will take on the Carolina Eagles, our big rival, right here at the Extreme Ice Center. Hope you'll mark those dates on your calendar. Come on out and support the Rush in this very exciting 2017-18 United States Premier Hockey League season. Well, again, go to our Charlotte Rush website, our YouTube site, and also our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get complete information on the Charlotte Rush. Thanks to Andrew Scholar, our cameraman from the Carolina School of Broadcasting, running our camera. And I'm Charlotte Rush voice, Tim Donnelly. Thanks so much for watching.